Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. Squat wisely with a brand new audiobook. Visit http://www.audibletrial.com/squat and get a free audiobook with your 30-day trial membership.
She is a passionate philosophy professor,
fitness professional,
and motivational speaker. She helps strengthen the body, but she also helps strengthen the mind.
The mind?
The mind.
For well over a decade, she has led philosophy courses within the university system of Georgia.
She leads group fitness classes in Atlanta,
as well as leading one-on-one personal training sessions. Let's all squat wisely with Kristen Hester.
Yes, we are here once again for another episode of Squat Wisely. Guys, I want to thank you for my launch week. I hope that you enjoyed some of the interviews. I want to personally thank the people who came on to the show, starting out with Dave Anderson. He was awesome. He's the business bully himself. It was perfect starting off the podcast with him. I am so thankful for his time and the wisdom that he shared. Next was Professor Griff. Professor Griff teaching us to focus on those symbols within the music industry and just the world around us. I am so happy that he came onto the show. Along with Raven Simone's dad, Mr. Christopher B. Pierman, offering us lots of wisdom, lots of motivation, I should say, to kind of go after those dreams. So I am very appreciative for that. Along with Mocha, who taught us to become a manifester, to pay attention to the things that we engage, the things that we allow into our bodies, even into our minds. A lot of the things that are in our lives are a direct reflection of our own thoughts and our own actions. And I think Mocha did an awesome job helping us to see that, along with Sarah Bowling, who told us about her Saving Moses project. That was amazing, and I truly respect the work that she is doing, and I'm sure she gave a lot of us a perspective that we don't often consider. We don't always think about the well-being of babies, and we don't think about the fact that sometimes women who choose prostitution as a career, if they don't have the money for a babysitter, sometimes the baby is right there with them. And that was the eye-opener that I received when talking to Sarah. I'm sure you received your own. Next, we had Ashley Adams, the corporate yogini. She is in the podcast course that I was in with Dave Anderson. And so we're like fellow classmates, course mates, if you will. So it's always great to have people on who have a shared goal and shared interest with yourself. She's also into fitness just like I am. So that was just a great discussion overall. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And of course, you know, the personal training side of things with Mr. Daniel Howe. So glad he came onto the show. And even though he told us a lot about personal training and how we can use his guides to study, he gave us a lot of great wisdom as well. Still enjoying the quote from Seneca that he shared. So it was awesome. I look forward to possibly having some of those same guys come on the show again in the future. So I went through that list for a reason. You know, so often when we have these great accomplishments, you know, we don't make it alone. You know, my first week was a success because of all of those people who I just, talked about. And I just want to cater some time to re-emphasize my appreciation for what they contributed to help make my podcast a reality. Of course, I can come on and I can do shows by myself like I will be doing today, but I always like to show gratitude where gratitude is due, because too often we're so busy with life that we don't take the time to say thank you. And, some of the guests that I had are, people would consider very known, somewhat high profile, and they didn't give me a lot of hassle. And I'm just thankful for that. I'm just Kristen from Atlanta, Georgia, who likes to do squats. So whenever someone gives me a moment of their time and they don't have to, I am thankful. So I am thankful to you as well, the listeners, and especially if you're listening to me beyond my first week launch. I am very thankful for you because you didn't have to come back to tune in, but you did, and I am thankful. Today we are going to talk about going after scary, chasing after the things that scare us. All right, there are a lot of things in life that we want to do. There are a lot of things in life that we really wish we could do. And the truth of the matter is, the only thing that really stops us sometimes is fear, or being too scared to make a mistake, being too scared to fail. So today I want to talk about that because it's one of those topics that really works very well with fitness, and philosophy naturally comes in because it's wisdom that carries us through during those times where we are crippled with fear. When our mindset is focused on being scared and worried about outcomes, it is wisdom that is able to destroy all of that so we advance forward. So if you stay tuned, guys, I'll be back, and that will be the topic for today.
Jordis A1 Solutions has a fitness solution just for you. For your personal training needs, we serve clients who reside in Atlanta, Georgia, and nearby cities. We also help clients to achieve their goals online as well. To inquire, visit Jordis.com. Jordis is Jortis.
All right, so going after scary. Well, first, let's talk about some of the things that stop us from going after the things that are scary. One of the main things that many of you probably automatically thought about is fear. Fear is one of the main reasons why we avoid anything that's scary. Sometimes it's fear of the unknown, it's fear of failure, just fear of success even. So we can take something like knowing we need to lose weight. A lot of people will not go after the consistency of working out because they will fear that their efforts will result in no progress. So it's like, well, why get all sweaty and tired and my body starts, getting sore and achy and I'm doing all of the right things, but yet not producing any results. Well, one of the things that we know for a fact, especially with a fitness goal or a weight loss goal, if you don't ever get started, you'll never lose the weight. But if you take a step forward, in spite of the fear that it will amount to nothing, your efforts, you'll find that pushing past the fear, pushing past the fact that your efforts may amount to nothing, you'll actually end up reaching your goal eventually. Why? Because you did not allow the fear to stop you. You still moved forward in spite of what you were feeling on the inside, in spite of the fear of failure, the fear of success even. You still went forward and you went after it. Even in our life, we may have career goals. We may have plans for ourselves to, have a successful business. Even just the idea of having a business and then trying to bring it out into reality, that can be a very fearful situation because for the same reasons like with fitness. You fear, will this come to pass? Will this happen? But the truth of the matter is, going back to the fitness thing, if you never start, you'll never fulfill whatever that goal is you have for yourself. So purpose to push beyond the fear. I was on Facebook the other day and someone had posted the words, "Do it afraid." Do it afraid. And I thought that would be fitting for what I wanted to talk about today because it reminds me of an assignment that I do with some of my students. It is a project that is based on a philosopher by the name of William James. All right. So William James is one of the philosophers that my college students study. And he has a quote, and the quote is used in my class for a project for them to basically confront some of the things that either scare them, keep them, crippled with fear. And the quote basically goes, "Do every day or two something for no other reason that you would rather not do it, so that when the hour of dire need draws nigh, it may find you not unnerved and untrained to stand the test." All right, so again, that's William James. He says, do every day or two something for no other reason that you would rather not do it, so that when the hour of dire need draws nigh, it may find you not unnerved and untrained to stand the test. Now, some of the things that my students have shared with me for me reviewing their projects have been very life-changing. One guy is actually married to his sweetheart today because of this William James project. It was a young lady that he liked for a long time at his job. He was afraid to approach her, not knowing how she would respond. And that was something that he didn't want to do, but yet underneath it all, he wanted to do it. But it was the fear that made him feel as if he couldn't do it. And so this project and this quote from William James presented itself into his life. And he said that he used this quote to give himself the courage to confront a woman who he was attracted to. And now we fast forward some years later, they are actually husband and wife today. So it's pretty awesome. Yes, it is very scary when we do those things that we really want to do, but we fear, again, outcomes like I mentioned earlier. But sometimes, even if the outcome doesn't work in our favor of what we were aiming towards, a lot of times, no is just going to set you onto the path that you need to be on. So it's still a win no matter how you look at it. But if you never put anything out into the atmosphere to actually ignite something and to execute something forward, then you'll never get to any results. So I never fear no, because no opens the door to the yes that you actually need. But if you never travel the path, if you never push fear aside and just make it happen, as Nike says, just do it, then you never know what beautiful life could be on the other side of you making that brave decision and crushing fear at its core. When Mr. Christopher B. Pearman was on the show, I love the quote. I put it up one day as a wise quote of the day. And basically his quote was saying, the moment you greet fear, you defeat it. I think that's so consistent with what William James was saying, because I love when William James said, do it for no other reason other than the fact that you don't want to do it. But when the hour of need arrives that you need to know how to do it, you putting yourself in a position to do the thing you don't want to do will prepare you for those times when you need to do the thing you didn't want to do. Sometimes we have to purpose to push ourselves. Sometimes we have to make ourselves do those things that we don't want to do, because we never know how that is going to help us down the road. Again, same thing that our Raven Simone's dad pointed out about her being afraid to sing the Star Spangled Banner. That, crushing that fear and helping his daughter to basically confront that head on, is what set her whole career on fire. If any time she was afraid to do anything in public, then we would never know who Raven Simone is today, controversy or not. We wouldn't know who she is today, because she would have allowed fear to silence her voice, to silence her talent, to silence all of the great possibilities that her life deserves and should enjoy today as we know it. So think of those examples. Think of William James in your life. Think about even that quote that someone put on Facebook about doing it afraid. think of it tonight or whenever you're listening to this, because you can listen in